Go.
Uh, Hello, class. My name is Professor Boyle, Boyle, and I'm the faculty member teaching Physics 1004L, the laboratory class, as well as the lecture class, PHY 1004. Now, for your information, both books are required. We'll be using them every class. For the laboratory class, you need Physics Laboratory Manual by J. Boyle. In other words, I wrote it. I wrote it to try to keep it inexpensive for the students. I wrote it to try to keep it inexpensive for the students. So it should be about $24 for this book. The lecture class, the book again is required as Physics with Application. Physics with Applications by J. Boyle. It's required, and it should be about $36.
In the bookstore.
All right? Okay. Now, what we're going to start today is, here's the book, there's the laboratory manual. Looks like that. And the lecture book looks like that. So you can recognize it by the cover. All right? And we're going to start today with the lab. So we're going to go to page 1 of the laboratory manual. And this page starts out with the metric system. And what we want to do is we want to get used to the metric system, because in lecture class, we're not going to be using the English system. We're not going to be using so much feet and miles per hour. We'll be using meters and meters per second and kilometers per hour. So it's important to be able to do that. Okay. Now the first thing you do, you're going to have your book, hopefully. You open up to page 1, the metric system, and it starts out talking about length. Now the reason we're doing this because you have to be able to understand what a meter is, but have some sort of reference for that. So a meter is approximately the distance from the floor up to your waist. That's about 1 meter. It's 39.37 inches long. That's a meter. So 1 meter is a little over 3 feet. And most people are between 1.5 meter and maybe 2 meters, which would be about 6 feet 4 inches tall. So our first little experiment is to find meter sticks and you measure your height. So I'm going to get my meter sticks now, and we're going to try that. Now I'm going to stand against the blackboard, and I'm going to put a mark at the top of my head. I'm going to measure that distance. Now I keep saying I'm about 6 feet 4 inches tall, and I lie. So I'll try to make it more accurate. Going to be about like this. Hopefully that's pretty close. Right there. Barely see it though. Let me try that again. That showed up that time. Okay. Now here's 1 meter. Goes to there. And I have the next meter stick like this. And I get my height. It comes out to be about 174, maybe 175 centimeters. So I'm going to write that down. So my height is about 175 centimeters, just like there's 100 cents in a dollar. There's 100 centimeters in a meter. So if I want to convert this to meters, all I do is divide 175 by 100, and that comes out to be 1.75 meters tall. So everyone in this class is usually between about, maybe a little more than 150, maybe 160 centimeters, 1.6 meters, and maybe about 2 meters if you're about 6 foot 4 inches tall. Now in terms of feet and inches, I'm going to say I'm about 5 feet 9 inches tall. Well, I know 5 feet is 12 inches in a foot. 12 inches in 1 foot. So this will be 60 inches plus 9 inches, and so I'm about 69 inches tall. 69 inches tall. And so it gives you a relative idea in terms of both centimeters and inches how tall most of us are, right there. Then it says the second thing, it says to measure your hand span in centimeters. Well, it depends on what you mean by a hand span. To me, a hand span would be this distance right here. And in my hand, that's about 23 centimeters. It's 23 centimeters, or it's about 9 inches long. So hand span. Of course, it depends on the person. It's about 9 inches, and that's approximately about 23 centimeters. Like that. Or that would also be about 0.23 meters. Now, the next topic, it says we want to determine the length of your foot in centimeters. Well, I'm not going to take off my shoe, so I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. For most people, the distance from your elbow, right there, to your wrist, is about equal to the length of your foot. It depends on the person, though. So in that case, this comes out to be about 24 centimeters for me. About 23 centimeters. And 23 centimeters would come out to be about 9 inches. So that's about the length of my foot. All right? Now it's interesting because your hand span is pretty close, at least in my case, my hand span is pretty close to the length of my foot. Now it's never quite right because actually you're always walking your feet and your foot's probably maybe a little bit longer than your hand span, but that's to get you a rough idea about that, okay? And then we have to measure the length, width, and height, or a single step. Well, in order to measure a single step, all I do is I go like this, and this really depends on the person. So the left single step like that, and like that, and that's a single step. Now, in my case, it's probably about 40 to 50 centimeters long. That's about 40 centimeters. That would be 0.4 meters. And in terms of inches, that's about almost 16 inches long. Like that. All right. Okay. Now the Romans, when they're measuring off distances in terms of long distances, like they used a mile. A mile was 1,000 paces, 1,000 steps, but each pace was actually 2 steps. So it'd be 2,000 steps like that, and that approximately gives us 1 mile of distance. Again, it depends on the length of your step. Okay? Next thing to worry about is their speed. Well, in class, what I always do is have a student who will walk the length of the room. So I'm going to say the length of this room. I'm going to have to erase this now from the board. All right. The assistant, you okay? So I'm gonna erase all this. I have my assistant with me to record this. And the length of this room is about 10 meters long. That's about 33 feet. Ten meters, which is about 33 feet, approximately 33 feet. And what I do is I have a student, and I'm going to do it now myself. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go from this end of the room to that end of the room, and we're going to measure the time. Now I'm going to walk at a regular pace, and maybe a fast pace. So this will be the regular pace like this. And that time should be close to about almost 10 seconds. Now if I walk at a fast pace, then I can do this in maybe 5 seconds. So that means my speed, we're almost done? Okay. The speed is the distance divided by the time. I'm going to say that's the distance divided by the time. That's going to be 10 meters divided by 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me about 1 meter per second. We out of time now? No? Still more time? And if you walk fast, that would mean 10 meters. Or if you walk, you walk fast, 5 seconds, and this would be 2 meters per second.
Mm-hmm.
Now most of you have a pretty good idea how fast you walk. If you ever use a treadmill at an exercise place, you usually set the speed maybe 2 miles per hour, 3 miles per hour. So most people can walk about 2 to 3 miles per hour on a treadmill. All right, I think we're going to stop right there for the moment.